Hey designers, let's create this social media ad poster in After Effects. Start by creating a new composition. Then import the background first. This is the table background. Let's import it. Drag and drop it onto the timeline. It's a very large image. Let's scale it down. Press S on your keyboard and then scale it down. I think this looks better. Okay, so now let's import the smoke video. I've downloaded it from Pixels. It's a smoke video. Drag and drop it onto the timeline. We will change the blending mode of this video. To do that, select the smoke video. Go to Layer, Blending Mode, and change it to Overlay. I think the effect is very sharp, so we will just reduce the opacity of the smoke video. Press T for opacity, and let's lower the opacity. This looks good now. We will apply the animation here. So, select both of them, go to Layer, and pre-compose them. Name it Start. Then press OK. Let's apply animation to the scale. So, press S for scale, then add a keyframe. Move the bar to the 5th frame. Add a blank keyframe here. Go back to the previous keyframe, and zoom the frame in. It is very fast, so let's move the keyframe to the 10th frame. OK. Select both keyframes, press F9 to ease them. Go to the graph editor, and adjust the graph like this. OK. Now let's import the burger. Drag and drop it onto the timeline. Let's scale it down. Press S for scale and scale it down. It will rest here on the table. Now go to Windows, search for the Align panel, and align this document. Select the burger. Press P for position. Add a keyframe to the position. Move a few frames forward and add a blank keyframe. Then go back to the previous keyframe and make it fall from the top to the table. Let's see now. After the table animation is done, select both keyframes. Press F9 to ease them. Let's go to the graph editor and adjust the graph like this. Now move the playhead a few frames forward. After the burger animation, a few frames forward, there will be text. So now, select the Type tool and write, hot and spicy, here. Highlight this text and adjust its color, fill color, stroke color. and give it a font of your choice. This font looks good. Let's give it a white stroke as well. Align it. Let's make it fill over stroke. Good. Increase the stroke weight. This looks good. Let's see the animation now. Okay, the text layer is showing, so move the playhead to the frame where the burger has touched the table already, and we will trim the text layer from the start by pressing Alt and the left square bracket. Okay, good. Duplicate this text layer by pressing Ctrl D on your keyboard and then move it downward with the help of the keyboard's downward arrow key. Now replace the text with burger. Highlight it and change the font. Let's give it a wide stroke and make the stroke 2. Increase the font size. Let's give a fill to the text as well. I will color pick this brownish red color. Do the required adjustments. After that, I want to have a flicker effect on this burger text. So, select the burger text layer. Go to Animate and search for opacity here. Click on it. Then set the opacity to 0. Go to Range Selector 1. Now add a keyframe to the start. Move a few frames forward and set it to 100. Now go to Advanced Options. Turn on the randomized order. Add a keyframe on the stopwatch near to random seed and set it to 25. Now go to the previous keyframe and set the random seed to 0. Good. Let's see. Okay. The flicker effect has happened for a few frames. Let's make the effect stay for a little bit longer. For that, select both keyframes and move them a few frames forward. By doing this, the animation will be a bit longer. This looks good. Close the options of this burger text list. We will make a 24:7 delivery shape and text here. So for that, first of all, make sure no layer is selected, and then take the pen tool and draw a shape like this. Remove fill and give it a stroke, a wide stroke. Now adjust the shape with the help of the selection tool. This looks good now. Now we want to rotate it. So for that, take the rotate tool and rotate it. It is rotating weirdly because the anchor point is not in the center. So with the shape being selected, press Ctrl, Command on Mac, on your keyboard and double-click on the anchor point icon to move the anchor point to the center of this shape. Now rotate it. Go to the options of this shape layer. Go to Add and select Trim Paths. Now go to Trim Path Options and click on the stopwatch near to Start. And now move a few frames forward. Add a blank keyframe. Go back to the previous frame. Make it 100. Okay, now let's make the stroke weight too. Go to the Shape options, then go to Stroke 1 options, and go to the Taper options now. And increase the start length and end length. It will taper the shape from the start and the end. Good. Let's increase the stroke width to 3, and close all the options now. Let's see the trim effect here. After the trim effect is done, we will have text here called 24/7 delivery. So, take the Type tool and write the text here. Adjust its position. Let's see the animation. Okay, the 24/7 delivery text is here, so we have to trim it from the start. So, move the bar to the point where the shape layer animation is done. So, select this layer and by pressing Alt and the left square bracket on your keyboard, trim this layer from the start. See the animation now. Okay, good. Now, we will have an Order Now text here. So, for that, take the rounded rectangle tool. Make sure no layer is selected. Take the rounded rectangle tool and draw a rectangle here. Give it a fill and remove the stroke. Okay, adjust the shape. Now, take the text tool and write your text here. Adjust the position of the text inside the shape. Okay, let's adjust the font size. Select both the shape and the text. Go to Layer and pre-compose it. We want the Order Now sign to blink after appearing, so first of all, trim this layer from the start after all the animations and the 24/7 delivery. Everything has appeared on the screen. Then the Order Now text will appear and it will blink in the first few seconds. To do this, let's select the pre-composed layer of them and move the playhead to the first frame of this layer. Now select this layer and press T for opacity, click on the stopwatch near to opacity. Now move 5 frames forward and add a blank keyframe. Then move 5 frames forward again, add a blank keyframe. Move 5 frames forward, add a blank keyframe. Move 5 frames forward, add a blank keyframe. OK. Now come back to the first keyframe and let it be 100. Then move to the next frame, make it 0. Move to the next frame, let it be 100. Then the next frame, make it 0. And the last frame will be 100. Let's see. I think it is moving very fast. Select all the keyframes, and by pressing Alt-Command on your keyboard, move them to the right. It will make them, all of them, organically move forward, making the scene a bit longer. Now, select all the keyframes again, right-click, and select Toggle Hold Keyframe. It will apply only the animation and not the opacity effect to it, making it look like that the sign is blinking. Now we want to balance our whole poster as it seems heavier on the right side and the left side is empty. So to balance it, let's move the 24/7 delivery sign to the left side. Select the 24/7 delivery text layer and the shape behind it layer. And with both of these layers being selected, move them to the left. Now we have to flip them. So select the shape layer behind it, go to Layer, Transform, and select Flip Horizontal. After this is done, adjust its position and rotation, and adjust the placement of the text as well. Now let's see the animation. Okay, it's almost complete. We just have to apply a camera shake effect to the point where the burger falls on the ground. So for that, select the starting layer, the table and the smoke which we had pre-composed, and the burger layer. Select all of these layers. Go to Layer and pre-compose them first. Now let's see on which frame the burger falls on the table. It's this one. So let's zoom in and see. I think this is the 23rd frame on which it is about to happen. So go to Effect, Expression Controls, and select Slider Control. OK. Now select this pre-composed layer, press P for position, and by pressing Alt-Command on your keyboard, click on the stopwatch near to position. Here we will apply the effect. But before that, let's duplicate this slider control effect by pressing Ctrl D on your keyboard. Rename one to Frequency, F. And the second one to Amount, A, like this. OK. Now go to the expression field and write, Wiggle, W-I-G-G-L-E. Add a round bracket here. Next, hold this whip icon, drag it and drop it onto the frequency slider first. Then, add a comma. Now move this whip icon, drag and drop it on the amount slider. Close the expression with the right round bracket. The first is the frequency and the second is the amount. So, let's see, nothing is happening because both of them are 0. Let's move the playhead to the point where the burger is about to fall on the table. OK, it is the 23rd frame and 24th frame. First of all, move it to the 23rd frame. Then click on the stopwatch near to the amount slider. Let's press U to see the keyframes. Now move the playhead to the 23rd frame and add a blank keyframe here. Then move it to the 24th frame and add another blank keyframe here. From 24th to 28th frame camera shake will happen. and then it will end. So add a blank keyframe here as well. Make the frequency 15. Now we will work on the amount slider, so select this last keyframe and make sure it is 0. Then on the second last frame, make it 15. And on the second keyframe, make it 15 as well. On the first frame, make it 0. Let's see now. Good, your animation is complete. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, if you found it helpful, please leave a comment and consider subscribing to my channel.